to be performance? I think it is better to ask the artist itself. I think an artist only could answer this very perfectly. So this person here, he wants to know.
अनिल नौरिया जी का प्रश्न है कि परफॉर्मेंस कौन सी चीज़ है जो परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट नहीं है, ठीक है? तो ये सभी आर्टिस्ट थोड़ा मिलके इसका जवाब दीजिए. द क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द फ्लोर इज व्हाट इज नॉट परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट? It's a lovely question, and I would like all the artists to try and give their view to answer this question, please. All of you will have different views, so if all of you could contribute to answering this question, it would be wonderful. I am handing over the mic to the artists, if they could please answer.
Hello. So, according to me, that I am basically a painter. So I used to paint. So there is an incident to enter this new field for me. Then that time I was not knowing live art. Performance art means I was thinking only the dance, music, everything. So all of a sudden one incident took place in Bangalore regarding the art gallery. So through that, as a protester, I entered in this one. So it can be a protester, it can be it's the media of expression. That's all. So another media to express like painting, a sculpture, whatever it is. It is included games. So you must have seen my this thing. That's like actually a game. It's a gambling game. It is. So you can adopt anything here. Anything. It's an open term of art. You can add it anything which will make the audience to think. So otherwise there's no use.
हाँ जी, मैं बोलना चाहूँगा सर. हाँ जी, मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगा. अच्छा, हाँ आप
It's better to use this.
हाँ जी, कला की जो डेफिनेशन है वो है कला कर्मशु कौशलम, कर्मों में कुशलता ही कला है. ऐसे भगवान कृष्ण ने गीता में बोला. उन्होंने सारी जो हमारी कुशलता है वो सब कुछ कला है. इवन अगर हम बात कर रहे हैं वो भी कला है, ठीक है? चलना भी कला है, बोलना भी कला है. तो उन्होंने ऐसे बहुत सारी कलाओं को बताया. फिर आगे भी बहुत सारे लिटरेचर, वात्सायन आए, कामसूत्र जिन्होंने लिखा, उन्होंने 64 कलाओं के बारे में बात कही. उन्होंने कहा कि अच्छा सारी कलाओं को छोड़ दो, अच्छा इसमें से 64 आर्ट्स ले लो, ठीक है? अब 64 टाइप्स ऑफ आर्ट जो है उसको कहते हैं भाई ये कला है, ठीक है? अब उसमें से भी कहते हैं नहीं, अब खाना बनाना भी कला है, लिखना भी कला है, ठीक है? बाल को सजाना भी कला है. तो उन्होंने कहा नहीं बहुत सारी कलाएं हो रही हैं. तो आगे और जो आए रिसर्चर, उन्होंने कहा इसमें से 5 कलाएं ले लो. तो उन्होंने कहा अच्छा ये ललित कलाएं हैं, फाइन आर्ट्स है ना, जैसे डांस, म्यूजिक, लिटरेचर, सब कुछ शामिल है, पेंटिंग, म्यूजिक. अब अगर उस रूप में देखा जाए, आपका जो क्वेश्चन था ना कि क्या चीज़ है जो परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट नहीं है, सब कुछ परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट है ना? जो कर्मों में कुशलता है वो कला है. तो सब जो हम कुशलता से कर रहे हैं वो कला है. लेकिन परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट क्या है? आर्ट वो है जो आम जीवन में हम नहीं देखते, ठीक है? इसको हम आज कंटेम्प्रेरी लाइफ में हम ऐसे डिफाइन कर सकते हैं कि जो अब अभी जैसे मतलब ये छतरी है, ठीक है, अम्ब्रेला. तो अम्ब्रेला को लेके सभी लोग चल रहे हैं, वो कॉमन है, वो कला है, ठीक है? अब परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट क्या है? आर्ट क्या है? अम्ब्रेला को तो हमने कैच किया, लिया, लेकिन हमने उसको प्रेजेंटेशन अलग तरह से किया, तो वो कला हो गई. परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट भी वही है ना, कि जो आर्ट हम एक नई तरह से रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, नए ढंग से, और जिसमें जो ऑडियंस है उसको इंटरेस्ट आए, उसको अच्छा लगे, वो सारी चीजें परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट में शामिल हो सकती हैं. थैंक यू.
Yes, almost most of the things. What we wanted, whether it is anything, it can be performance art, that is there. But when you are connecting with somebody in a very, visually, it is coming under visual art form. It is kind of, you are communicating, but communication also gives a visual impact. So then it becomes, to me, we are connecting with somebody, but we are talking, that is also connection. But when it becomes performance art, then the presentation becomes a different form, which is aesthetic. So there is the difference of common thing, communication, and when there is aesthetic communication.
দাদা আমি একটু বাংলায় বলতে চাই, আপনি কি একটু ট্রান্সলেশন করে দিবেন?
চেষ্টা করব, দেখি।
ঠিক আছে।
একটু সিম্পল বাংলাতে বলুন, আমি বেশি বাংলা বলতে পারি না।
যে জায়গাগুলো আমরা খেয়াল রাখি একটা পারফরমেন্স আর্টের ক্ষেত্রে, প্রথমত যখন পারফরমেন্স আর্ট করি আমরা, আমার শরীর একটা নির্দিষ্ট সময় এবং একটা স্থানকে কাজে লাগিয়ে আমরা আমাদের বক্তব্য প্রকাশ করি। তো বক্তব্যটাকে কিভাবে প্রকাশ করব, সেটাকে কোনো একটা প্রতীকের মাধ্যমে সেটাকে আমরা বলার চেষ্টা করি। এই ক্ষেত্রে যেই জিনিসগুলো খুব জরুরি বা অন্য কোনো কিছুর সাথে অন্য কোনো কিছু থেকে আলাদা করে, সেটা হচ্ছে এটা আগে থেকে রিহার্সাল করা হবে না এবং এটা অডিয়েন্সের সামনে হবে, একবারই হবে। আমি চাইলেও আমার কাজটা আরেকবার একই রকম হুবহু করে করতে পারবো না, এটা একবারই হবে। এবং আমি যখন করব, আমার হয়তো একটা মানসিক প্রিপারেশন থাকবে, কিন্তু সেটা আমি রিহার্সাল করে এসেছি বিষয়টা এমন না। যখন করব সেই সময় অন্য কিছুও হতে পারে, আমি হয়তো একভাবে চিন্তা করে এসেছি। যারা অডিয়েন্স থাকবে তারা হয়তো মাঝখান থেকে একজন ঢুকে গেল, বা তারা হয়তো এমন কিছু রিয়াক্ট করলো যে আমি যেটা ভেবে আসছি সেখান থেকে আবার হয়তো আমাকে আরেক দিকে টার্ন করে যেতে হতে পারে। তো সব সময় এটা আমাদের প্ল্যান অনুযায়ী হয় না, অনেক সময় সিচুয়েশন অনুযায়ীও আমরা করে থাকি। এটা একটা বড় তফাৎ যে থিয়েটার বা অন্য কোনো কিছু থেকে, যেটা আগে থেকে পুরোপুরি নির্ধারিত থাকে না।
I will attempt to translate. My Bangla is not very good, but basically the body, the thought, the place, the time, the audience, these determine what a performance shall be. It will come to you with the thoughts crystallized, but the performance of it absolutely unrehearsed. The moment the audience, the time will reveal the performance. It will never be the same again. The mind will come equally equipped, but the time will have changed, the audience will have changed, the place will have changed, and hence the performance will have changed. It will never be the same again, was her thought. So these were how she defined the elements of her performance. Does it ring any bells? Strings?
Spontaneity.
Okay.
Maybe more input others.
Others, if you'd like to contribute to that question, is anything not performance art? What is it that separates performance art from real life for you? If any artist would like to sort of give any part of their experience to answer this question.
Great. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. You asked what is not. Right, great. It's a challenge. It's really a challenge, and almost everything is performance. Some artists will say that, okay? But you have a great knowledge here. You observe that if it is everything, so it's performance. So what is valuable for performance, right? Okay, number one, if everything is performance is still very valuable because each one is different. Just like we people, everyone is just people, right? Person. What is the difference between you and me? Then there comes idea of individuality. Okay, so what is not performance? Okay, maybe my answer is just for the second part. Okay, every performance could be everything. Could be a performance, but that do not reduce the value of the performance. Okay, the number one, is that right? That everything is performance. Okay, that's the question. The other way around for you to ask, right? If there's everything is a performance, what is not performance?
I didn't say that everything is performance, but you want it.
Okay, all right, great. So I would say, some are not performance. For instance, maybe they just study or they just said it previously, and movie is not performance, okay? And even though performance and movies, they share some common element, but they are different, because theoretically they are different, and in reality they are different, okay? And that is because the philosophy of knowledge system, we need to classify everything. We need to have a position for every object in order to understand, okay? So we artists will define what is exactly performance. And of course, there are not performance, okay? That is my idea. All right, maybe some others.
Is watching the performance a performance?
Good, great question. Yeah, that would be even difficult. Boy, that's a tough one, and that's tough too. Watching a performance. All right, I will give my version of answer is this. If you think that is performance, and that is performance. Number two, if you claim it to somebody, you say, oh, this is performance, and that is performance, because this is very subjectively. You defined, okay? However, number three, when you say, okay, this is performance, you need to persuade me why this is performance. I think that is more important, okay? And that's also answer the question. If I say this is performance and this is not performance, then I need to persuade you. Why? What is the reason? Why that is not? And that would be more interesting than just define whether that is performance or not. Because once you define what performance is, the performance will change all the time. You know, there's nothing fixed. There's nothing stands still there. Everything's changed with the time. That's the most mysterious thing. So we need to persuade, and that's the most important issue. Okay, yes.
Suppose there is nobody in this room and you are performing here. Should we call it a performance?
Okay, there's a philosophical question. You know, if the tree falls down in the forest, nobody's there. Does it exist or not? Well, that's a question of existence. You know, philosophy of existence, and that's.
No, I mean, this tree is doing nothing.
That's
but
right.
You are performing here.
Yeah. Okay.
So in my perspective, I think that audience is the most important thing.
Okay. Good.
If there is no audience, I don't think it's a performance.
That's right. I agree with you.
So that's one element.
Yes.
That's one element.
Right.
To formalize.
That's right.
When we formalize or we put it in a framework, what is performance?
And this audience is number one. That's right. Without the audience, and nothing will be there.
The second is a shared meaning.
That's right. And number three,
Shared meaning.
Shared meaning include persuasion. You persuade me.
Whatever you communicate.
That's right.
I understand. Then it becomes a performance. Otherwise,
right.
it does not.
That's right. And all this frame, you know, audience, definition, sharing, communication, persuasion, those things are more important than which one is performance or which one is not. I think it's more important than that. Okay. All right. Thank you. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Great philosophers. Okay.
I'd like Shatadru and Sanskar to shed some light on that also. Okay. The basic question, Shatadru and Sanskar, was what is performance? What is not performance? लाइफ में क्या है जो परफॉर्मेंस नहीं है, तो कुछ जवाब अभी अभी निकले थे कि दो पार्टियां होनी चाहिए, एक शेयर्ड इंटेंट होना चाहिए, एक शेयर्ड कॉम्प्रिहेंशन होना चाहिए. तो there were certain aspects that were shared. What is your take? What exactly constitutes performance and what is not performance? As he said, convince me that it is performance, and it is. And if you're not able to, and if it's merely mundane activity, maybe it's not. Maybe it will become later. Then there was the question of the audience. जंगल में मोर नाचा, किसी ने नहीं देखा, तो मोर नाचा था, क्या जंगल था, क्या तुम थे? तो ये सारे प्रश्न जो हैं, जो भी आपके विचार हैं, if you can also share them, it would be nice to have another mind on the floor.
So basically, I told before that performing and performance art is very much close to each other, but not just in opposite. So sometimes the performing artist is going to do performance art, but we quite often argue that why that element to come, because when we saw that too much performing arts element coming, like a dancing mode or a theatrical aspect, then we do decide and we say that it's not, because performance art for me, because performance art is experience, is a quality of experience. Everybody's experience, they're going to narrate the brain and body. There's a main thing is not the body, main the brain and brain, because brain is the major part, because they do research and after that they come in the body. So if you see that other art, they just rehearse, they just do the script, they just practice and deliver. But here is a no scope to kind of calculate. But we know the space, we know the things, and we improvise. And we have a thought in mind, we have to do that things. Yeah. And there is 2-3 aspects I already discussed, that viewer negotiationship is very important, and space. How here is a not theatrical space that viewer going to in front of you or looking towards you, but the whole space is viewer space. Viewer can be in top of your head, or the other angle. So 360-degree angle your space. So you have wide range of space, and how you perform. You have to. We say the good performer when the performer going to touch each corner of the space. Maybe the wall, maybe the floor, maybe the other things. So that is main criteria. But in the stage performance or movie, you can see that the movie scene already planned. The river flowing, and you have to stand, you have to sing. But here is not like that. Here is a space also, a decorum for you. You decorate your space. Like I decorum the floor. I take the floor. I don't stand. So every time the performance artists mean to be use their space of their own choice and own body through their own body.
Yes, Atadula, you are right, and I see eye to eye with you. I have noticed one thing, but before that I want to say my opinion on performance. So for me, performance is a life. इसको मैं सिर्फ एक शब्द में बयां कर सकता हूँ. हमारे जीवन में जितनी चीज़ें आती हैं, जितनी चीज़ें हम लोग सीखते हैं, करके सीखते हैं, लर्निंग बाय डूइंग, तो यही परफॉर्मेंस है. इसीलिए मैं इसको सिर्फ एक शब्द में बयां करना चाहता हूँ, परफॉर्मेंस इज़ अ लाइफ. और दूसरी तरफ अगर मैं बात करता हूँ आज के परफॉर्मेंस की, आज के पूरे सेशन की, तो जब when we started our performance, that time and till now I feel that I have noticed from you and your understanding. So I want to know only one thing. जब हम लोग ने स्टार्ट किया था और जब हम लोग ने एंड किया, तो उस समय का जो प्रोसेस है आप लोग को क्या समझ में आया? क्या कोई मुझे बता सकता है?
क्या समझ में आया?
Yes sir.
What you get it after end of the day, what you get it from us.
When we started our performance and
the beginning,
after the end, in this process, during this process, what do you understand?
You mean
from all of the performances
What
that
is the
were
intellectual property of this performance?
Response. You want the response.
No, what the understanding? कैसे कैसे हमने देखा जैसे पहले जब आए थे इस रूम में तब आपका नजरिया कैसा था और after that the 2 hours
the biggest thing that happened for me personally was that though I did not connect with all the performances and I did not understand all of the performances, I could not derive meaning throughout. The biggest input for me was that it challenged my mind. It challenged my understanding. And it is still there.
True.
Maybe I will go back and I will brood on it, and today, tomorrow, tonight, and so on, and things will keep connecting. And it will add meaning slowly. Something will come quickly, something will come slowly. That challenge to the mind, I think, is the biggest.
The same thing in the painting, like if you look at that Picasso's that work, great work, every day I discover the new meaning. So
Here is another thing that I understand in a conceptual form.
Yes.
What is the difference between a performing art and a performance is that in a performing art, the meaning is expected.
Yeah.
Okay. The meaning is already expected. You go and watch a movie.
Predicted.
It is already predictable. The meaning is predictable.
Yeah, okay.
You go and watch a dance sequence or a song, listen to a song or an opera or a concert. The meaning is already predicted. The quality of the meaning changes, right? But the meaning is already predictable. Here, there is no meaning which is predictable
So
at
much
all
challenge.
because
So much challenge.
so much is fluid, so much is changing. Like you said, your 360 degree is your space and you can use it in any way. And like she said it, that its spontaneity is the key.
Yep.
When you translated it, spontaneity is
And
the key.
improvisation.
Anything improvisation keeps on happening.
Yep.
Then the meaning is what makes the difference because there is no set meaning.
Okay, that's right. Prediction is the key word.
Prediction is the key word. There's no prediction.
That's right. No prediction or predict little. Sometimes surprise. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a key.
A lot of fluidity is there.
So that's why when the performance art came, I think South America told that is a propaganda. So one part says that is a life art. One part says that activism, okay, and challenging. So everywhere as a synonym, and they accept it their own cultural zone and the title. Like in China, that South Asia give that behavior art and how we do the behavior. We also accepted.
Behavior art is a better name because
we
it
call,
makes it more
that's
predictable.
why we give our festival name is behavior art. Nothing is pre-decided, pre-planned like Sumon's work or that Nishadi's work. It's very poetic, very poetic. After that, you can carry some kind of things, and you know that the artists are not get any money or not expected. Only the feelings. They celebrate the heart and open your heart, open your hand to you, your viewers. They just do for themselves. No any other choice. Maybe they like I do painting, I do light installation, I do video art and all this. At the end of the day, I feel मुझे कुछ और रह गया बोलना, मुझे कुछ करना रह गया. तो ये मेरा आर्ट्स था, तो मैं उसी से थोड़ा सा इंस्पायर हूँ. तो उसी से मेरा ए बॉक्स शुरू किया. तो कुछ करना है, सबको बुलाना है.
Why did you name it?
HEXXYDUXXY.
Hexy and Doxy, huh?
Yeah. When I give the name, I'm thinking that it could be some interesting name. Hexy, know what? Like actually, poetic license. I think the whole word is poetic license because Bengali people, I'm Bengali, and Bengali people are very much poet. When they're born, they write poem. And you know, in 3 years old, my first poem was published. So I think that I use my behavior, that things, some packages. So I use that kind of name. No name.
There's another word that is coming to my mind
Yes.
to define the
definition,
framework.
that's right.
That is grammar.
Grammar,
So-
grammar.
Behavioral art or performance art, as you call it, has no grammar.
No grammar. No grammar.
All performing arts have their own grammar.
Grammar and shaping, and you can learn. So when we give the workshop, we told that it's unconscious movement and how to control unconscious.
There's so much
movement.
of spontaneity that there
Yeah.
is no fixed grammar.
If I just flip the chair and what happened and how you use that the space, that is our workshop. I think Kalakendo we taking the Lucia, me and Kaikin. So if you come, you can see the experience. Anybody, any age can come and feel the experience. Yeah.
Okay.
Your question. Right?
And number one, you first,
Yeah.
and then you second.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because he raised hand. Go ahead.
I'm a bit confused because you say nothing is pre-planned, no props are used. But if I take your performance, for example, you probably had thought about it early. That's why you brought in all the props
Yes.
and
That is
took
not
them.
that is not props. That is the object.
Whatever.
I told that we don't use props.
You give it a different name, but it is an item that you planned to use during your performance. So it is not spontaneous in that sense. Similarly, some other artists also did the same thing. If it is a performance with the help of umbrella as an object or a prop is brought. So I'm a bit,
But how you use the umbrella would be
that is different, but they have been saying that it is spontaneous, we do not think about it before and so on, and we do not use any props. So that's the thing. Can you please clarify?
Yeah, I appreciate your question, the feelings, but I feel I told that performance arts need a thorough research.
You turn the microphone to him.
Performance art needs a thorough research, not ऐसे टपक पड़ता नहीं. So performance art is a build up an intellectual property, and use the mundane object. Mundane object is an object, not props. When the props, like a theater, they made something, but it's all the ready-made object like we use in our daily life, and now we using performing with a different way. Okay, I carry dagger with not like that in my legs, or I not jack like kind things. So everything is a big research. हमने क्यों किया?
But
आप एक मिनट, आपको मन में क्या प्रश्न आया कि मैंने क्यों किया?
I don't know.
Yeah,
You already know
now,
that.
Now you can meet each artist, and now you know that big story behind it. Their research. Just when you see the painting, just in 1 minute you say, "Oh, I don't like it. This one," but not good. That artist spent 30-40 years to produce. Their research, their philosophy. Same thing. The performance art, not the 5 minute or 10 minute, 2 minutes job. Behind that, their homework, their aesthetic intellectual property. So they build up and they use their revolution. So it's not like that. So, and all the time, the stepping, how I come and how I do, it's not pre-planned. I cannot do them all before. And everybody, you can see that someone coming, knocking the door, Lisa sitting there and starting from the same point. So everybody's this is a foreign place for us. We never been this room. We came and we explored how and which space we can use. And every artist uses a different corner and different angle because they like it and they feel it and they try to do it.
I would like to answer.
I will be very short. I don't agree that preparation is defining performance art in general. There are different kind of performances, and there are some that are improvised. It means also there are group performances. It means there are many artists in the same space, and we like play with objects together, and this is really spontaneous. But there are also performances that are really prepared, in the sense that you work on it a lot. You prepare object, you make sculpture, you make many things to prepare. But the fact of the improvisation, it means that during the performance, the life of the action, that it starts with the beginning and it ends with the end, that is very connected with life. Our life has a duration always. Then in that moment, in that space of time,
of time, you can always, as an artist, decide to change, to take decisions. Even if you prepare, if you said, I use a lot of objects, no? Also today, I was recording my voice because it was not my voice. I was preparing the action, but then everything is welcome to come in the action, and I take decision every time. This cannot happen really in other form of art like this. This is the.
See, now you are emphasizing research, okay? Now, research is done even in other performances, and they are probably written down, and then you have a beginning and you have a end, predictable. Here you are saying you can improvise. Even in a skit, sometimes when an artist forgets his or her dialogues, they improvise. So what is the difference? I'm still not able to understand.
So when the performer performing in front of the viewer, here is everybody is our viewer, and there is viewership challenge. So if I go to the viewers, how they react. So here is a challenge.
Like if an actor forget and he improvise, that is considered an error. When a performance artist takes a decision, is not is considered just itself, the presence of him.
The only difference is the audience or the director knows what should have come here. Here, nobody knows whether it is going according to the research, or only the artist knows.
Yeah.
So the audience will never come to know whether it has been improvised, or it had to happen like this.
If I may contribute something at this point, I'd like to sort of draw a parallel between, say, a painting, which is a piece of static art, all right? It is frozen in time, okay? And this, a performing art, okay? This is happening live, it's right there. The question of interpretation, because essentially you're reducing it to a question of interpretation. I do not know what's happening here, so I don't know whether it's right or wrong. First of all, there is no right or wrong here in the first place, all right? There is no good or bad. If it kicked you in the head, great, that's good. If it did not, and you just went, possibly not so good. And I think the painting does that too. None of us have the grammar, the vyakaran, to be able to really deal with what, there's an Iranian poet, his name is Anis Mojgani. I'm going to be a little profane because the words that he uses are a little profane. It says, you can't write, motherfucker, what I just wrote, motherfucker, because you never stood in that spot that I just stood in, motherfucker. Okay, so that, if I take that as the paradigm, the painter who painted something, you as an audience, at least I as an audience, will never have the tools to understand all that the painter went into, that painting. The craftsmanship, the education, the feeling, the contextualization, the knowledge that went into that depiction. I'll never be able to. I can make a second guess. Maybe your guess will be far better than mine, because yours is a more educated mind. But I can only bring so much to bear on a painting, and I can only bring so much to bear on a piece of performance art. Your interpretation, if yours is a superior, better mind, more attuned with what's happening, you'll probably get a lot more out of this than I will, is the way I'm trying to understand it. Shatadru, help me here. Am I anywhere near any kind of comprehension of this? Are we anywhere near where we're trying to answer what?
जब आप इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे थे तो आपने एक टर्म यूज करी थी मेंटल टूल्स
जी,
और हम सबके मेंटल टूल्स की बात करी थी कि हमारे सबके पास मेंटल टूल्स अलग अलग होंगे और सबके पास उतने नहीं होंगे जिस हिसाब से, क्योंकि ये हमारे लिए
सबसे ज्यादा है
और ज़्यादातर हमारे, मुझे लगता है इस कमरे में ज़्यादातर लोग जो हैं उनके लिए दिस वाज अ फर्स्ट एक्सपोजर टू परफॉर्मेंस आर्ट. फॉर मी इट वाज अ फर्स्ट एक्सपोजर. So is there at the end of your collective performances, is there a a time when each artist puts his or her perspective on the piece
Yes.
that they did?
Yes, you can.
Because I would like to understand a few of them from
can,
their perspective.
You can ask them their
Like
title,
hers,
their
which she
title
has.
and concept. You can you can get
Yeah.
their concept because
If they spend 1 minute each just
because
sharing
time
that.
is very short.
Himanshu, join us at Kala Kendra on Sunday
Yeah.
from
So
11
each-
o'clock to
each
5
artist
o'clock.
going to talk
We're having
about
a
their-
long
their
workshop
practice.
which is far more interactive, and you'll be able to put down exactly such concerns and perhaps understand the process a lot more.
I'll
I
try.
had something to add to it.
Yes,
This
I
would
want
answer.
to add something about
Sunday
your
we have a
questions.
walk in the morning, so I'll
I
see
would like
when
to
I.
say that performance art is a kind of happening. Anything can be happened. An artist is not unable, it's not able to understand also. And when me and Faria was performing, like an example, we had a plan that we get some tools and we'll move like this, we'll make a noise with this bowl, but we didn't have any plan to make it perfectly. Sometimes you have seen that we missed some strokes, and also we fall down, but we didn't have any plan to fall down. But it's performance, it's happening, we granted it. But in performing art, we cannot grant it, we need to take a reshot it. So that's the difference.
There's another dimension that comes to my mind. You just quoted somebody who used
Anis Mujgani ji.
Anis Mujrani,
Yeah.
whose language
Sir.
may not be acceptable. So
Correct, sir.
that brings me to the question: is there a consideration of morality
Yes,
when,
sir.
when you are
There is
when
indeed.
you are because as you said, anything can be performance. So in front of the audience, can you perform things which are socially, morally not accepted?
Yes, sir. If I may color your question,
Mhm.
okay. I'm not attempting to provide an answer. I'm merely adding color to your question.
Please.
Okay. Almost all the artists in the room have performed nude, right there, on the floor. They don't have a stitch of clothing on, and that is indeed part of the performance. It's not that they're trying to shock you with their nudity. It is part of their performance. All right. There are people who will cut themselves, who will mutilate themselves, who will use body blood to be able to draw you in the air what they want to communicate. However, I very specifically requested Shatadru, we are a small conservative town with small conservative values, so let us not have nudity, let us not have blood, let us not have compasses being poked into the face, let us not have simulated lovemaking. Simply because I live in Dehradun, I don't want to be hung from the chalk, for organizing an event like that. So, okay, but I'm only coloring your question. Does morality come into play? I'm certain it does, because even in that nude circumstance, when we watch pornography, all right, you have to draw your own line. Is normal pornography acceptable? Is MILF pornography acceptable? Is DILF pornography acceptable? Is child porn acceptable? There's something known as snuff films, where while the act is happening, one partner is murdered, and that's caught on camera. And the last throes of life going out of that person's eyes while a sex act is being performed, that is also pornography, and some people really get their rocks off that one. Now, within the pornographer's world, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable? It's a higher plane of comprehension, but even there, you will find yourselves drawing some lines, okay? Even for porn watchers, there's a line. For when Kurutula and Haider and Manto were being tried in Lahore, the lines of obscenity, morality were different. When you're categorizing pornography films, it's different. When it's performance art, I know it's different. I still haven't understood this. I pass no judgment because I have not the education to understand it yet. I'm trying, but I'll never have the education they have, all right? But is there a line that you draw? I think so, sir. I think so. But again, I'm only coloring your question. The answers have to come from them.
Yes.
Sir.
It essentially then depends upon the audience.
So,
as the point came earlier, audience is very important.
Ji, sir.
If you go to Bangkok and see a live show,
Ji, sir.
we pay to buy a ticket
Ji, sir.
to go and see that. We are looking forward to that.
Ji, sir.
So it will actually depend upon the audience what kind of act you can perform and be accepted,
Ji, sir.
or what kind of act you cannot perform because you will be shouted at.
No, it may be other way around also. Suppose an artist doing something and you are not accepting, at the same time I am accepting that.
Which is okay. I mean,
They'll get that feedback. So that feedback always comes from the audience.
Sometimes even non-acceptance could be part of.
Yes, maybe is the goal of the artist.
The viewer reaction also.
In fact, Dada art in the 20s, adverse, violent audience reaction was really the whole object of the exercise. Okay? Basically, we're going to shock the hell out of you, and we will create artworks that do that. But they were dealing with static artwork. Okay? They have a lot. Yes, please.
Actually, it has been done already in history. Many performance artists did something like that. Audiences never liked. They never accepted that it. They said like that this could not be accepted in society or in a family, in a gallery or somewhere else. But the artists, they did not stop there. They keep doing whatever they wanted. So it is. It's also a kind of question that should we draw a line there or not?
Can we just give the mic to Anilji, please?
Yeah. I have one experience. I've been invited by Kai King to China, and we are prepared for a performance in Beijing, and suddenly shut down. So then we think that when we can do, and Kai King arranged one gallery. Inside the gallery, and 20 artists perform because we don't stop. We came far away to do. We have set that energy, and we did. So this thing happened all the way.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to conclude that.
Anil, if you could just use the mic on, please.
I don't want an answer to what I'm saying. I just want to throw the question because it may shed light. You can think about it later. It may shed light on this question of what is not performing art, because it's a question relating to the boundaries. Now, I take you back. Some of you may recall, early 1970s, there was an incident in Delhi, in the Purana Kila. There used to be an extremist organization called Anand Marg. And this Abdut from the Anand Marg, standing inside the Purana Kila, set fire to himself. And it was photographed by a photographer who was present. So a whole lot of ethical questions arose with the photographer, but also this whole act of the Abdut setting fire to himself. Now, was it or was it not performing art? Now, this is one. The other is the throwing of the bomb on Hiroshima. Was that performing art?
Oh my gosh.
Now, therefore, I'm just hinting at one further thing, that in searching for boundaries as to what is not performing art, I would suggest tentatively that if there is a collateral purpose behind what is happening or done, then it should be ruled out as performing art. So if there is some collateral purpose that is being pursued,
बहुत बढ़िया.
so that's it.
Very nice.
So on that.
Collateral purpose. Wow. Awesome. Fantastic. Are there any other questions that anyone would like to ask, or any other answers, even without questions, that anybody would like to provide?
I think if you guys can interact with each artist, you can get to know that their research.
That can go on and on.
Yeah, what they produce and how.
We'll come on Sunday. Do that on Sunday.
आप सभी लोग आए, आपका धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much.
एक सेकंड सर, if you don't mind. दो बातें. the conversation can continue over tea and biscuits in the cafeteria, number one. And secondly, we are holding a workshop at Kala Kendra on Sunday from 11 o'clock to about 5:30. So whoever would like to come, entry is free, it's open to everybody. जितने लोग कला केंद्र में फिट हो सकते हैं, प्लीज आइए 11 से 5:30. Lots of conversation, especially with regard